Welcome back to Willis Talk. I have touched upon some more of this in other episodes, um, but we're back to where I picked off on the last episode, where God was the only thing in the beginning. Now, taking just logic alone, I would say that God, according to any kind of text, was it. It was only one head of everything. It boiled down to always. That wound up creating something else. Whether or not it was even in Roman and Egyptian and Greek things, there was always somebody at the head that they overthrew or something. But those are in other episodes. What I'm talking about is that the spirit, the entity that is the all-powerful entity of everything, was the first anything, and could take in hundreds, thousands, millions of years, even trillions of years, to actually come to be even aware of what was going on. And then God just was. And I know some of you Bible people, and I probably just, I'm not going to listen no more of him. This is just a look at possibilities. This does not diminish God at all. Okay? If anything, this lets us relate more. And we should relate more to God. And you'll find out if you keep listening. God said, I don't want all this darkness no more. I don't want to be alone no more. And desperately started trying to find someone, something other than sheer darkness, sheer nothingness. And given enough time, God willed angels, fellow things that looked similar to God and had powers, and angelic powers at that. It's like an angelic power is like taking um, Wolverine's healing factor and amping it even more, where uh, he heals before he even gets cut. Okay? Um, I know that was kind of a bad example, but you take something like Cyclops' concussion beam, and it becomes a destruction beam. Like Battlestar Galactica, or worse, Star Wars Planet Destroyer type. This is the kind of powers that the angels have. God didn't really know much better. He was lonely. He wanted somebody that was like God. And this is what God created. And was much like God. Had many emotions like God. Uh, many thoughts like God. And a nearly undivided love and devotion for God. And I say nearly because most people forget that the king of hell served under God. So, in many religions, that's pretty much the way it always has been. Now, God probably got a little sick and tired because we're made in God's image. Okay, you have to base these thoughts, these things, in that basin. With that being said, then, the basic of it would be that God that exists has the same emotional spectrum as we do, because we have the same emotional spectrum as God. We are made in God's image. Can't get much clearer than that. We are made in God's image. So that means if we're made in God's image, we are like God. Not in a blasphemy way, but in a good way to be able to understand our Father. Now, with this understanding, wouldn't you get tired of constantly hearing praise? And on that same spectrum, if he had given them the same emotional spectrum as he had, then wouldn't you also get tired of singing praise? You know, just a wild hair, you know, you want a day or two off occasionally. Yeah, you love God. Honestly, you do love God. But do you actually sing to God every day? Every minute of the day? That's a little unrealistic, isn't it? Do you praise God, though, every day? Do you thank Him for everything? Yes, you do. If you're a good Christian, if you're a good belief in the higher spirit, you say thank you for every little good thing that comes along, and you say I understand for every bad thing that comes along. This is just how you roll if you're a true believer. Now, you come across God saying, I don't like all this praise. I'm going to try it again with these race. And this race becomes called demons. Kind of failed at that. They had just as much power as the angels. Problem is, they had a great disdain for God or the deity, special. So now you've got angry demons and angry angels at the angry demons. Now you got war. Something God didn't want to happen either, so he got angry with them. Caused more problems. Solved those problems and decided to create, okay, enough. I'm going to create another race. Well, you might say, just for festival's sake, that God created dwarfs and elves and giants and such. Some of those things are in a lot of the actual even Bibles. Eventually I'll get my Bible out and I'll show where it's said in there on certain paragraphs, different things. the whole thing was just a mess of trying. Created the dinosaurs, created giant bugs, created who knows how many different races of humanoid men. You know, maybe the reason why we can't find the missing link is because there is no such thing as the missing link. They are just races that didn't survive us. Or ones that went in hiding. Bigfoot, maybe? Come on. We are one of the most destructive people on the planet. We will make beads out of bones. We will grind them up and eat them. We can consume every part of any animal or anything. We have been known to eat our own kind. To think that any positive proof of certain events would ever emerge is foolhardy, but to disclaim them is also foolhardy. It is always rolling the dice every time you are at an archaeological dig, trying to find historical facts, and not even knowing if those historical facts are real or fictition. Now that pretty much does it on this episode of Willis Talk. It's just a look at what God might have been thinking, because it's not blasphemy to think that God does think and feel. It's more blasphemy to dishonor the fact that we know that in many religions we say God made us in His image and then put Him up on some kind of pedestal where He doesn't have the same feeling capabilities as we do. It's just more complex, as He has to deal with way bigger problems than what are we going to eat tonight. Willis out.